Hello, this video presentation is about the derivation of the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is a powerful formula to solve any quadratic equation, and most consider it the easiest. It isn't. Factoring, if you can, is definitely easier, and even completing the square can be easier, but some prefer the quadratic formula. The derivation I'm going to go through is solving this equation right here, using completing the square. We're going to solve this. A, B, and C are just numbers. Don't know what they are, doesn't matter. We're going to solve it just like we've been. You will have to do this. I will give you as a quiz, probably as a quiz, maybe on the test, the question, derive the quadratic formula, and you are going to have to repeat this. I will give you a couple of opportunities, but it's either all right or all wrong. So carefully understand this. All right, first of all, the constant, c, has to be moved to the other side. Minus c, and we have ax squared plus bx equals the opposite of c. And like always, the leading coefficient must be 1. So we divide by a. Nothing new here. And actually, in some ways, this is easier because I don't care what the numbers are. All right, so now I end up with x squared plus b over a x plus something equals negative c over a plus something. Now, we do the same thing we did yesterday. We take b over a and we multiply that number by 1/2. So that gives us b over 2a. And then we square it. b over 2a squared, which is b squared. 2 squared is 4, a squared is a squared. So I have b squared over 4a squared plus b squared over 4a squared. Now I factor the left side, and we have x, it's a plus, and this number right here, let's use a different color, this number right here always goes right there, plus b over 2a. All right? Just like if I had x squared plus 6x plus something equals 1, and I take half of this, half of 6, and square it, I get 9. 9 plus 9, x plus 3 squared. This number is what goes here. It's the same thing, whether it's with fractions or not fractions. All right, continuing here. I'm going to rearrange this, and it's going to look a little bit better. I have b squared over 4a squared minus c over a. Our final formula is going to have it in this order. I forgot my squared, so I might as well do it here. I now need a common denominator. So I multiply by 4a, top and bottom, and I have x plus b over 2a squared equals b squared minus 4ac, all over 4a squared. I now take the square root of both sides, plus minus, make sure my whole fraction is in the square root, and I'm almost done. Believe it or not. I now have x plus b over 2a, the square root, equals plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over square root of 4 is 2, square root of a squared is a. Notice I have a common denominator here, so I subtract minus b over 2a to both sides, and I'm done. X is equal to the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, you need to start practicing this derivation. This is the quadratic formula. This formula needs to A, be memorized, and B, you need to be able to derive it using completing the square. Let's really run through it again. I'm going to start and I'm going to say derive the quadratic formula. And I'm going to give you this. Then, what do you want to do? You want to get constant on the other side, so you subtract c. You want the linear coefficient to be 1, so you divide by a. Then, you take half of b over a times 1/2, and you square it. Don't forget this squared, and we get b squared over 4a squared. We then factor the left, and this number, remember right here, this number is just the number we squared. And we added that to both sides. We factor it, and then we get a common denominator. We have a common denominator here. We take the square root of both sides. Took the square root of both sides. Oh, also, in addition to getting a common denominator, I rearranged the order. I wanted the c over a after the b squared over 4a squared. Just because that's the way the formula reads. All right? Square rooted both sides. Then I was able to actually take the square root of 4a squared. It's 2a. And then I subtracted, and I'm done. Easy peasy. Like I said, I am going to give you this as a quiz, probably as a quiz, to derive the quadratic formula, and I expect you to do it 100% accurately. So start practicing. All right? And this will actually help you become better at completing the square. All right. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later. And yeah.